Okay, good morning, class. Are we on? All right. Good morning, class. Welcome to Thursday Civics. Glad you're all here, smiling faces. What an exciting day because today is the first unit test for second semester, so you're super excited about that. All right, so here's the deal. Before we get started, you have an entry task, okay, at your table. They're going to complete together. So just so you know, in a few minutes, all right, I'm going to turn you loose. All right, and you're going to be working together to complete this entry task, and then you will turn it in. I can see that some of the groups have already written your names at the top, and then there's two tasks. You'll see the first task is real simple, and what you're trying to do is you're trying to make sure you get out all of your materials. So you want to get out your study guide from Tuesday. You want to get out any notes, any assignments, any formative worksheets that we have from Unit 1. So the time is now 7:55. The goal is that you will have this entry task done by 8:04. The most important part is part 2 of the entry task. If you look at the entry task form, part 1 is get out your materials. Part 2 is as a group, and Ben, you can join another group if you want. All right. Part 2 is you want to write 4 to 6 clarifying questions, which means as a group, you need to go through and create 4 questions about items from Unit 1 that you still need to have clarified before today's exam. So 2 tasks, get out your materials, and then also you want to start writing clarifying questions. All right, the timer has started. You have a few minutes in, and at least why don't you join Ben in the front, because you're going to need to have group number 9 as well. Oh, it's stuck.
You turn your back to it. Just walk in front of it. There you go.
Here it comes. All right. Okay. So get out all of your materials. You guys were a little bit late, so here, I'll do this. So your job is to get out all this. You write your names on this. And then you want to get out all of your materials from Unit 1. So you have your review guide, if you have, or your study guide, if you have your any of your assignments, anything, you want to get that stuff out. And then your job is to write down 4 to 6 questions that you have as a group. So if there's like, okay, I've got a question about, I don't understand the difference between a confederacy and a democracy. That might be a clarifying question. All right.
I mean, I'll be there.
All right. Let's get started on those clarifying questions. And here's the deal. You don't need to answer those questions. I see some of you are kind of looking at each other. Either you're having a staring contest or you're confused. Please do not answer the questions. You just want to write the questions. So all you're trying to do is figure out what are 4 to 6 things that you would like to have clarified before we take the test. So your job and each task is to get the points. And I believe you will turn in these sheets. So as long as you've got those 4 to 6 questions, and you participate in the discussion that will happen after we write those questions, then you will get the points for this entry task. And there doesn't need to be one recorder. There can be several recorders. Yeah. It can be a question about the material. So you might have something written down like, hey, I know I wrote this down, but I don't know what exactly it means. You will get points per question. So a question might be, I don't understand what checks and balances mean. That could be your question. Don't worry, these aren't going to wind up on Jeopardy. Just write them down. And you can pass around that sheet so everyone has a chance to write the question. Losing track of me here. There we go. I've got a lot going on here. Maybe this is the... So, for someone who hasn't lived in here at all, I'd expect a little more urgency out of what you're doing. So far I've seen this, all right, and I've seen one of this, and I've seen 0 of this and that. Okay, so it's up to you.
Yeah.
All right, I know you want to pass.
Yeah.
Okay, but you got to start focused, all right, and you guys got to help with that.
Yeah.
What's up? Here we go. 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Go pick one. Wigs or something. A little distraction. So the problem is I keep going like this, right, and covering it. All right, we'll figure it out. Learning curve. All right, let's all try and get one last question down, and then we're going to switch gears. And what you will all notice is you each have a number which is on your entry task form. So what that means is that when I draw a spoon, one of those 9 numbers is on one of these spoons. And when I draw your number, okay, it's going to be your job to grab your paper and then ask the entire class the clarifying question. Make sense? Now, let's say I draw number 7. Where is table 7 at? Who's entry task number 7? Right here. Excellent. So if I draw, here's how it's going to work. If I draw spoon number 7, all right, then you have to ask the class a clarifying question. So why don't you ask that question now? Go ahead. Would someone like to be the representative who speaks? Stands up. Excellent.
What is the judicial review?
All right. So the question is, would you please explain the judicial review at this point in time? Ready? You, as a group of 4, are now going to go through and spend all the next minute trying to discuss and answer that question. Say, okay, what is judicial review? And I can guarantee, okay, because I wrote the test, that there's at least 2 questions about judicial review on the test today. So, at this point in time, all right, and then you have 1 minute, maybe less. Let's go ahead and, as a group, figure out what judicial review is. And then I will draw another magic spoon in a minute, and that table will be in charge of answering. So you better make sure that you know. Just, no, the concept basically is divine right, and the clarifying question would be, what exactly is divine right? So, you're good.
This thing, right?
Yeah, it's
But why does it have buttons?
All right, 30 seconds. Make sure you know what judicial review is. There is not going to be a time where I say, oh, you don't know? That's okay, because you are going to have to know. Yes. Go ahead. You can go out in the hallway if you need to. All right, so the question is, what is judicial review? All right, the magic spoon. Hopefully every table has an answer. All right, here we go. Table number 1. All right. Did you get a chance? That's over here. Did you get a chance to discuss what judicial review is? And can one of you tell the class what judicial review is? Go ahead, Clifton. Tell us.
Judicial review is where when a law is being passed through, or if a law is being reviewed, being looked at as if it's constitutional, like viewed against the Constitution by the people.
Gotcha. So judicial review is carried out by who? How about this? By which branch of the government carries out judicial review? Go ahead. Yeah, the judicial branch. All right. So obviously, what is the main job of the judicial branch? To decide what? If laws are constitutional, all right, which means do the laws that the Congress has created, do they follow the Constitution? If the answer is no, then they must be what? Declared unconstitutional, and that would be the judicial review process. All right, here we go. It's clarifying question number 2. Group number 8. Where is group 8 at? You guys, all right, so now you got a question for the group?
What is the divine right theory?
Ooh, okay, here's a clarifying question. What is the divine right theory? All right, how many of you also wrote down that as a clarifying question on your entry task? Would you please raise your hands if your group wrote that? All right, I know I saw a few of those. All right, so there's a question as a group. All right, please discuss and figure out using your documents, your assignments, what is divine right theory so that you can answer group 7 and Matt's question. You got about 30 seconds as a group. Go. What is divine right theory? Got it? Are we good? You bet, Kim. Okay, has everyone had enough time to discuss what divine right is? So I'm going to draw a magic spoon. The magic spoon is table number 6. All right? Table number 6. Where's table 6 at? Well, I can find out, people. Who's got 6? Over there? Oh, all right, Ray. Did you get a chance to discuss what is divine right theory? Can you tell us the answer so the entire class knows this for the test? Sure, that'd be excellent.
So the divine right theory is that the theory that the state was created by God who gave certain individuals the divine right to rule over others.
Now what about this? Are there still divine right governments out there? Which in some ways, to say people kind of legitimize themselves as being in power by saying, well, I was chosen, right? I was chosen because I was the son or I was the daughter of the previous ruler. So that's this idea about divine right. So let me see this. We know we've got lots of types of government. We've got democracy. We've got dictatorships. What type of government would we say still exists as a result of divine right? So, I see lots of hands. Hope, can you tell us? A monarchy, right? So how many know what a monarchy? Remember that one? That also is on the test because I wrote it and I know. So remember, a monarchy was a great example, or we would say that that is a divine right example where sometimes rulers legitimize their power by saying to themselves, I was chosen by a higher power, all right? That deity or a god that chose them to rule. All right, here we go. Let's see. Here we go. Table number 9. So group number 9. Do you have a clarifying question for us, Elise, in your group?
I said, what way was the 26 out of the 27 amendments ratified?
Ooh, this is number 12 on the study guide. So the question is, in what way were 26 of the 27 amendments to the Constitution passed? All right, so take about 30 seconds as a group. Try and find that answer, and we'll go ahead and go. It's a great question, Elise. Ready, set, 30 seconds. Answer as your group, then I'll draw another spoon. Ready, go.
Approved by 2/3 vote, ineligible, ratified
by 2/3 of legislators to ratify by 2/3 meaning 3/4 of the states.
All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, and group number 5. Your lucky spoon has been drawn. Where's group 5 at? So you guys in the corner? All right, Nate, do you or does your group have an answer for what process has been used for a majority of the amendments to our Constitution?
Yes.
Go ahead, tell us what you know.
The first method.
Okay, and which is what? And that's a good, how about this? That's good, right? The first method, which means they thought, hey, what's the best way to change the constitution of the government? They probably wrote that one first. Wouldn't you agree? I mean, think about your best ideas, right? So someone says, well, it's the first method. Oh, okay. Is it important to know it's the first method? Well, sure, because you might say, perhaps that was the one they said, this is the best way to get things done. So what is that first method? Can someone help them out? Go ahead, Alex.
It's proposed by the 2/3 vote in each house and ratified by 3/4 of the state legislatures.
All right, read that again.
Proposed by 2/3 vote in each house and ratified by 3/4 of the state legislatures.
Okay, how about this? Everyone follow along. Let's talk about federalism for a second. Are you ready? So we talked about federalism means that what? We have a strong federal or national government as well as what? Several local governments, which are in our country are what?
State governments.
State governments. So it's just, so if most of our amendments have been passed, well, how do they start in our country? They start with what? What's that? Say that first part again, Alex.
2/3 vote in each house.
So we'll have this. When they say 2/3 vote in each house, what houses are they talking about?
The House of Representatives and the Senate.
Yeah, so the House of Representatives and the Senate, all right? So that's Congress. There's a term you'll ask on the test. So Congress, both houses have to say, 2/3 say this is important. And then the step 2 is, once those houses pass it, and by the way, is 66%, okay, 2/3 a pretty big number for those houses? Yeah, okay, most things don't pass that easily, all right? So then where does it go, Alex? Tell us one more time.
Then it goes to the state legislatures who needs to be ratified by 3/4.
Gotcha. So then, because we have a federal system, it goes to the state legislatures, and then they all have to pass it, all right, in each state, which means the local representatives, right? The ones that we vote for, who might show up and live in this area, right? Some of the names we talked about here and there. Well, we'll talk about those names next chapter, I promise. So those people would then go, and in Olympia, they would then get a chance to vote. So remember back in 5th grade when you all learned your state capitals, all right? Each of those state capitals have a legislature which would then go and vote to approve that amendment. So great one. All right, we have time for one more. Are you ready? Let's see. We need a clarifying question from group number 3. Where's group 3 at? You guys 3? Say it one more time. What? What is the definition of ratification? All right. Excellent. So as a group, we got 30 seconds. Go ahead and discuss that. What does ratification mean? Ready, go. It'll show up. I'm learning. Don't turn your back to the camera. All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, and group number 2. Can you tell us what ratification is? Ooh, all right, Angela, stand it up.
It's the action of signing or giving from a consent to
Excellent. Will you read that one more time so everyone hears that? Because that was awesome. All right, it was nice and loud. Own it. Here we go.
The action of signing or giving formal consent to a treaty, contract, or agreement, making it officially valid.
Excellent. Here's my challenge to all of you. How many of you have ever had to sign something? Right? So if the next time you go somewhere, some of you are going to go in a couple years, you'll go to a job and they'll have you sign a contract, or you're going to go and hopefully you're going to figure out a way, hey, I'm going to go and apply and sign up to go to a college. I just dare you to say to this person, oh, would you like me to ratify this by signing here? And they might think you're crazy, but that's what ratification is. Ratification means it's the process of saying we accept this. So if you were someone who is interested in knowing this for the test, there's 3 terms which will all be bundled together. Here we go. The first one is ratification. The second one is federalists. And the third one is anti-federalists. Right? So let me ask you this. Here's a clarifying question you can all answer together. All right? The Federalists were in favor of passing or ratifying the Constitution. Is that true or false? True. So if you were a Federalist, then you were considered someone who said, hey, I think the federal form of government, which will be created by the United States Constitution, is a good direction to go. So therefore, you would be in favor of ratification. If you were an anti-federalist, you might have been someone who kind of said, no, I don't think we need to have a strong, powerful central government, much like the ones that we saw in Europe. So therefore, you might be an anti-federalist, which means you were against ratification. Sound good? All right. Does anyone have any pressing? Not everyone had a chance to. Any groups we didn't get to have a clarifying question you really need to know. Remember, you did not answer my question, and I need to know. Carl, go ahead. What's that? Yeah, a junta. Right. Yeah, Junta. All right, that's a good one. So what that usually means is it's where a small group of, usually military, not always, kind of overthrow the government. And it's kind of a quick, kind of a military government, which is usually doesn't last real long. So, yeah, good question. Who else has one? You else got any clarifying questions? Last chance. Any clarifying questions before we kind of start the next part of the review? Anyone at all? All right, here we go. Switch gears. Would you all make sure you spin around your chairs, and everyone please look up here. So if you're facing that wall, would you please make sure you can see up here? Because we're going to go through and we're going to begin to get a little bit of exercise and moving around the room. This is what we call the graffiti wall. So hopefully all of you are excited about this. Let me give you some kind of hopefully some clear instructions about what you're going to do once we kind of start. So listen carefully, all right? And you will have a real good idea about what the next about 15 minutes will be. So here we go. I'm going to use, this is my graffiti wall. This is just the example, so I won't write on this one. But here's what's going to happen, all right? You're going to get a paper just like this at your table. So although it's called graffiti wall, it's called graffiti table because we're actually going to use one of these posters on your table. Sound good? Now, there's a couple rules, all right? The first rule is this, is you must, here we go, travel with your group. Okay, which means you can't just kind of hang out and say you got to be with your group the entire time. All right, make sure that you are together because that is your kind of platform. It's your group. You're going to be discussing, talking about all the different things that you're going to be coming across. The second thing you want to make sure you do is you're going to have a specific marker color. All right, when you get to table 1, which is right over here, the way you're going to signify that you are part of that group is when you get to table 1 eventually, you are going to write your last names, all right, on a row, which means you'll say, so, hey, it's Smith and Johnson and Muhlenbrook, right? So you just write your names. Now, you may say, well, how do you know we're in the same group? Because it'll be in your color. So you write your names in your color. That'll happen whenever you get to group number 1. So you're going to have a specific marker color that you're going to use, all right? The other one is this. Now we have one color. You need to make sure that you are taking turns, which means as I look at orange, all right, around all of the graffiti walls eventually, I should see different types of orange handwriting so everyone is taking responsibility of being the recorder. All right, what's going to happen is this. When you show up, you're going to walk up to your table, all right? And the first one, I'm going to set them down, and then we're all going to rotate one table. But when you first get there, let me switch colors, so this is the most important part. Your first step is you're going to go and review previous questions. And I'll leave this up there so you can see what you're supposed to do at each time you show up. So at previous questions, which means you're going to show up and say, okay, what is the questions that were written before? And you'll look at those questions, all right, and you will go through each of those, all right? Step 2, all right, is you are going to answer the last question written, which means the group before you is going to leave a question for you. You will answer that. And then what you're going to do, so a good color will be green, so it's kind of a 3-step process, is you are going to write a question for the next group. So these will be up there so you won't get confused. I know right now about half of you might be listening, all right? For the next group, you can always look up here and know. So what's going to happen is this. You're going to walk up. You're going to be with your group. You're going to have a Mr. Sensi snowy marker. I will add at least 30 seconds to the first time so you can actually all take a nice sniff of it, all right? When you get there, you'll come up and you will look at your question, all right? So this one says federalism, right, is a government that has power divided between a national government and several local governments. Is that true or is that false? So it's got a national government and several local governments. Is that federalism? Yeah, that sounds like fun, doesn't it? Right? So the answer would be true. So and by the way, of the 9 questions that are on each of the tables and this one, okay, every single one of those questions is on the test. So you're going to walk up. You're going to see the question. Okay, you're going to talk with your group. Say, what is the answer? You can take your materials with you. You will then answer the questions you would answer true. It is then your job, okay, to then go and as a group write another question. Here's the only rule. It has to be of the same format, which means if it's a true-false question, you need to write another true-false question. Okay, it's just that the material or the content will change. Make sense? So you can ask a question about divine right. You can ask a question about unitary government. You can ask a question about sovereignty, about states. All right, whatever you want to write. Okay, it should be one of the materials or one of the questions from your materials, from your content. You would have to write then the next question. Now, once that happens, okay, we're going to rotate, and we'll all rotate. So the 1s will go to 2, 2 to 3, and so on. And then if you're at table number 9, which is right here, the 9s go to 1, so 8s come here, obviously. And then we're going to keep rotating around. Sound good? Now, here's the last thing. Okay, all 9 questions that you see as the first ones, those are going to appear on the test. Okay, so make sure you take note of those. Write good questions. Okay, if you write good questions, the rest of the group, okay, or the rest of the groups, as they see your questions and answer those questions and review those questions, will have a chance to jog their brain to make sure they're ready for the test, okay, which will be important. And the last thing I would tell you is when you show up at your table, make sure you spend time reading all of the previous questions. So I will be adding time as we go along. The further along we get, we'll add a little more time so you have enough time to make sure you can go and answer each of the questions that are above. Because eventually, you're going to have 5 or 6 or 7 questions above, and you'll always be able to use the back side and flip it over, so you don't have time to make sure you review all of those. I would also tell you this, be careful. I will walk around, but it's also your job to make sure that if a group before you didn't get it right, okay, make sure that you go and say, are they correct? Don't just take their answers as being the right answer or the correct answer. Fair enough? All right, so I'm going to pass these around. All right, I'm going to start with group 9 because you were last, but no, you can choose whatever scented marker you have, then pass that around. Please take care of my scented markers we use in the future. Here's group 1. So grab a marker, pass them around. Here's the 2s. There's the 3s. There you go. Once you get your question, you can begin answering it and then discussing what question you want to write next. He gets 4 or 5. 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. All right. There you go. All right, so go ahead and at this time you can begin to answer the question. You got, you just plus the pins. Here, let me give you these. Oh, no. There you go. Which one do you? Which one? One marker for each table. Pick your color wisely. All right. Is brown cinnamon?
Brown. I hope brown. Brown.
Oh, no.
We got the orange one.
We have one.
Oh, yeah. All right. Got the rest? All right. Here we go. The internet timer is at 2 minutes. It is set. And here we go. There's your time. You got 2 minutes. Ready, set, go. Oh, yeah, by the way, stand up. You got to stand up, all right? Get out of your seats, stand up, get that blood flowing, all right? Stand up, push in your chairs. Take your materials with you. Answer the question, and then write a new question. Yep, right. You can answer it right on that sheet, so go ahead and circle it.
So the majority of my notes are on my computer.
All you can use is that.
Okay, so we're answering this and writing
Yep.
another one.
Answer that question. Yeah, your job is to answer the question and then write another question that's in the same format.
Right, the social contract theory is the most significant origin of civics.
Nice, you're right. Nice, you write multiple choice. Yes. No, you're going to do on number 1, so. Yep. Well.
No, that was a drinking age.
No, 21's drinking age. The 21st Amendment.
I will give you a hint. It's not the most recent one, but it's close. So you knew there was 27 amendments. That's actually one of the questions. All right, get going. You're going to run out of time. Especially if you have a multiple choice question. Those are hard to write. Just grab any of them. Time goes fast. Here we go, about 30 seconds and we'll rotate. Almost drank Mrs. Kraft's coffee. Maybe this will feel right. You go 7 to 8. All right. We're going to go about, say most of you are done. Wrap up your question. If it's multiple choice and you don't have time to put that many options, put 2 options is fine. All right. And in the interest of time, you now know how quickly you must work. So now we're going to rotate. So when you get there, review the questions, answer the most recent one, and then begin writing your next question. Ready, set, go. Yeah, just write in that. Yep. Do you want to go with him? Do you want to walk with him? Just at least review the questions. Think about it. I know you can do it. Okay, the timer is back up and running.
What time do you plan on taking the test?
Probably about 20 minutes. Last half hour. Goes pretty quick. 55.
Is it on my computer?
All right, how we doing? Did you get a chance to answer the one above? We got to write the answer. Oh, okay. So, you answered that one.
No.
No.
Oh, okay, they answered that one. Okay, I see what there's. Okay, you got it. Three parts of government. Three branches, right? That might be a better word to use, but that's okay. Three branches. Tree. The tree of government. Three branches. Excellent. Here we go, 46 seconds. Why don't you guys go to 9 real quick? Go to that one. We'll rotate through. Will that work? That will be the easier one to write. You guys done? Did you answer it? All right. The blank in there can use the right of a fair true. I like that. What kind of case, though? Fair trial. Is it a criminal case? Is it a civil case? Well, remember, there's two amendments, right? So it might matter. So there could be two answers to that. Remember, I said, hey, there's a civil trial, criminal trial. Which one's which? One's about, hey, someone fixed my roof, but they didn't fix it. I already paid them. All right. Here we go. And why don't you guys go to that one? All right. Why don't you guys go to that one now? All right. You guys rotate there, and then you guys just come here. All right. So you guys just switch spots. You want to go a little quicker in this one, all right? I know it goes fast. All right. Here we go. Everyone rotate. Here we go. 2 minutes. I'm giving you one more time this time. We're going to be sure to review all the questions. People are writing great questions. Make sure you have a chance to review those and answer those questions.
Protect citizens from unreasonable searches and seizures.
Ooh, I like it. How we doing? Good. Good. There you go. Yes. Question.
To do 4, right? I just have to list, or do we have to do 4?
No, you can do any question you want. So this is to fill in the blank. So they wrote those ones, and that one. You can do a different one. So
But
as
can I
long
do like list 2 instead of 4?
of something different.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That's this one. What's your question going to be? What is the power of the... Oh, all right. Do you guys know what it is? What is the power to make laws? Well done. How's my group of 2 doing over here?
I'm trying to remember how to spell.
Yeah? What do you want to spell?
Savern. S-A-V-E-R-N.
Yeah, it's S-A-V-E-R... I-G-N-T-Y?
I'm saying, can a single person
Oh,
be
yeah.
sovereign?
Oh, okay. Good question. Yeah, question mark. That's fine. They're going to know what it is. I'll help out. I'll come over and help out. Here we go, about 30 seconds. If you're done with your question, I know some groups are kind of going through and they're more worried about your own question writing. Make sure you have a chance to read the questions above. There's been lots of great questions so far. Excellent. How we doing over here? Ooh, 6 seconds. 5. Count down with me. 4. Good job, everybody. Way to count down with me. And there it is. Rotate. Here we go. 2.5 minutes. When you get there, make sure you read those other questions. Lots of great questions being written. Ooh, that's a good question. Tricky. Okay, the new timer has started. How you guys doing? Good questions?
I hope so. 26 and 27 minutes were created using this method.
Ooh, okay.
First, second, third.
All right.
Created using this method? Yeah.
So multiple choice, you go that way? Okay. Excellent. Good question. How many amendments are there in the Bill of Rights? Ooh, what's the answer? First 10. Absolutely.
Second, third, and fourth.
All right, so if you wrote your question quickly, make sure you go through, and as a group, you can answer the questions that were written above. So make sure you've got all of them. It's going to be a great tool for you to have. Ray, what's up? How can I help? What's that?
We don't know the answer.
Ooh, tough question. How would an oligarchy work in today's society? So oligarchy would mean there's just a couple of people ruling, like a small group, like 5 people, right? So you might say something like, there's only 5 people in charge. Would lots of things get done? Would it be... The biggest question would be, usually those things end up turning into a dictatorship, where even in a group of 5, one person a lot of times asserts their power, and once that happens, that's when you see this transform into a dictatorship. So the answer might be, it would turn into a dictatorship most likely. It's kind of an open-ended question. It's tough. All right, 6, 5, 4. Let's go ahead and rotate. When you get there, have a chance to we'll do a couple more. Probably go about 2 more rounds. If you run out of room, don't forget you can write on the back.
What?
You can flip it over and write on the back. Wow, you guys go quickly. All right. You guys ready? Oh, because there's 2 groups here? Gotcha. All right. Is Miranda, where's Miranda at? Miranda. Miranda gone today? Okay. Monarchy is where you have a royal family, so like a king and queen. You know, some of those Saudi princes.
We have a lot of glass cleaners.
Yeah, they even for all these laptops, they gave us a bunch of it. So Costco packs.
It would be just the second.
Here we go. About 30 seconds this group. So write a quick question. Maybe 45 seconds left. right, here we go. How much time was ready? All right, about 15 more seconds. Then we'll go through one last rotation. All right, and then we'll start prepping for the test. I know, but you know what? You got to know stuff. All right, here we go. Let's rotate. If you're still trying to finish the last parts of that question, that's fine. Otherwise, rotate. When you get there, make sure you look at each of the questions. As I walk around, there's some great questions people have written, so make sure you take a look at those. Knowing those items is going to be vital. Yes. The what? Oh, yeah, that's the first question. Yep. How we doing?
Good. Oh, I know.
Where do you guys start? You guys start right there, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you just about 8, 7. Okay. All right. Last one. So after this, we're going to move tables and transition into the test. I don't know if you want to video that too. Yeah. So, yeah. Are you getting what you need to make a video? Are you sure? Okay. And the lessons, I'm trying to go through and now make it sound official. You know what I mean?
Are these the same thing? Representative government and representative democracy is a government, right?
Yeah, so
Is that the same?
what? Yes, representative. Yes. So they're asking you.
Government by popular consent.
There you go. By electing officials. So this is the last one. So when you get done, make sure you have a chance to review all the questions, and then we'll be transitioning into the test here in just a minute. We haven't gone all the way through, but I want to make sure you have time to take the test. So.
Is the test like what we did in I don't know, sophomore year, where there's multiple choice and the true and false, true and false, matching. I thought so.
All right, about 30 seconds. Yeah, then if you have not written your names on group 1 yet, why don't you go do that real quick so I know which color each group had, and you can actually bring up your marker when you're done and put it on the front table up here. It would be fantastic. Yeah, it's right there in the front. It'd be awesome. Thank you. Ooh, there's the timer. There you go. Up to you. All right. All right, and then once you've signed your names, you can hand me your markers or bring them to the front. And then you want to go ahead and have only your review study guide in front of you. Everything else can go into your bags. And then what we're going to do is we're going to transition and get computers after we move the desks. So everyone grab a seat.
Don't worry about it. Make a tower, Mr.
I didn't take you more than that.
Yes.
Come right there. Thank you. All right, if you have all of your materials put away, you can come and grab your computer and begin to log into Schoology.
Remember that monster? I hit on all the answers in there. Drink your way to the bottom.
I've just got a different one of the other ones. I made mine for. Yeah. Yeah. That'd be good.
Don't be doing that. You almost hit me in the head again.
Oh, thank you. So make sure your names are on entry tasks as well. And then once you get logged in, once you're logged in, go ahead. Just the packet, just the review packet. So when you turn it back in. So remember, all you can have with you is your review assignment. That's the one item that you can have with you. Everything else should be put away. All right, so go to log into Schoology. Let me give you a few reminders about what a test environment should sound and be like. So a couple of quick instructions. Number one is this. Obviously, your cell phones need to be off the table. They need to be put away. Rule number two, all right, obviously eyes should remain on your own digital screen, all right, and on your own paper, your own digital screen. Keep in mind, the questions will be scrambled, which means that for all of you, you'll get usually one question per page. Okay, so do not assume that because later on your number 5 was everyone else number 5. It won't be. All right, so as you get logged in, the test, all right, is simply called Unit 1. All right, Unit 1, I think it's called Foundation of Government Test. Is that what I called it? Now, once you get there, it's not going to be live yet. So once I see everyone's there, and if you struggle with that and you can't get to the right spot, then please raise your hand, and I will come around and help you get to it. But in just a minute, I will enable the test, and then you'll be able to begin. Is everyone there? So once I enable the test, you will simply have to go and refresh, and then you will be able to begin the test. Okay. At this time, this should be a quiet testing environment. The test is 55 questions. All right. If you have any questions, don't ask a neighbor. Just raise your hand. I will come around and help you. So once you refresh, you should be able to begin the test. It'll say Start New Attempt. And once you start new attempt, you should be able to start the test.